Good day, everyone, and welcome to the new edition of the Global CXO Series on CXOTV. I'm your host, Kalpana Singhal, and today we are thrilled to have with us Soumyabrata Saha, the Associate Partner, Infosys Consulting. Welcome, Soumya.
Thank you. Thanks, Kalpana. It's nice to be here.
Pleasure. So let's dive right into it. Soumya, what inspired you to pursue a career in consulting, and how has your journey shaped your perspective on the industry?
Yeah, that's great. Actually, while I introspect in this whole journey, right, in last 20 years, I think when I started, this was whole zeal and enthusiasm to be in front of the client, bringing some changes to the real business problems, solving those. That was one of the main reasons where I wanted to be in consulting profession as part of my career aspiration. So I started in that way. But I think while it has evolved over years across various industries, across various organizations, I think the way it at least came to me over years, the industry perspectives becomes much more different. The imperatives, the areas of importance, and the way probably technology is changing in each of the industries, that I have seen quite kind of coming through a sea change over time. And it's like having quite a lot of impact these days while we look probably the way telecom used to look probably 20 years back versus now, and the kind of demands on customer experience, etc., comes in. So I think it's a sea change as part of industry perspectives and the way customers look at it currently.
Yeah, so lots of 5G, 6G, 7G, and don't know how many other Gs.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you share some key trends currently driving change in the management consulting and services industry?
Yeah, so I think management consulting is at the forefront of probably both consuming as well as how to use the change to make benefits to the customer, right? So if I look probably what are the key trends which are currently going, which are probably impacting, right? So first one is obviously there is a lot of focus on sustainability, correct? How sustainable practices can come in play. And this has kind of evolved the way probably we consult customers in various part of it, that what are the kind of various things customers can do starting from your whole management consulting life cycle, right? At the same time, I think this is also driving how probably different consulting organizations structure new offerings, new services across these areas. So that's, I think, one of the things which is coming very much clear on the forefront. Secondly, I think there are a lot of opportunities coming from the volatile economy, which all of us are seeing, right? I think all industries are going through kind of times which they are seeing in the market. There are pressure on the revenue side, etc., which comes in. This gives a lot of opportunities as well. If we look from a consulting standpoint, how we can try to leverage those through cost optimization, what are the kind of restructuring possible, etc. So I think management consulting is also quite getting driven by how the economy is evolving and what are the kind of opportunities that are coming up and how to grab those. That's, I think, second. Thirdly, I think new specializations like Gen AI, artificial intelligence, which is bringing in, correct? So the way we operate, the way we probably used to recommend things, deliver things, it's getting quite shaped with these new technologies.
Yeah. So, and the digital transformation and the digitization, and
Yes.
I think too much emphasis on digital marketing these days. Is again, we can add to this. So how do you see digital transformation impacting the consulting industry, and what opportunities does it present for firms and clients alike?
Yeah, digital transformation is obviously picking up quite. I think a lot of organizations have matured quite well in this cycle. If we look probably the way it started over, it's coming from your whole cloud, data analytics, AI recently, then IoT, blockchain, which has evolved over time, right? But I think the way it is coming at, while customers are going ahead in level of maturity, the kind of pivots they are taking across those are changing. So when probably 10 years back, when cloud just started, so everybody was looking how to adopt. Now everybody is looking how to optimize. And then the next part which comes in, how probably we leverage those to give better business benefits, both from customer as well as internal customer side, right? So those are the things which are coming. And this is helping actually through customers to increase productivity, save cost. So a lot of drivers as well are getting achieved through those. If we look at the current whole discussion around generative AI, correct? So I think this is revolutionizing how probably things will be done. There are a lot of areas, scope for opportunity of automation is coming in, where probably both productivity as well as cost savings will come through these areas. So I think that's the way it is shaping up. It's quite interesting to see, and how it sustains over time. That's something which will be very interesting.
Yeah, sure. So, like you also mentioned about AI, taking all the industries by storm, and now everything being on SaaS, everything SaaS based. So there is a kind of a convergence between AI and cloud. So you think, how actually organizations can leverage that?
Yeah. So when you look at basically leveraging both of these, like both you mentioned AI as well as cloud, I think while probably we have kind of matured for a lot of organizations in the cloud journey, AI is at its very nascent stage, I would say, right? Everybody is trying to put the guardrails, how they should adopt. And the most important thing which is coming for a lot of large organizations, how responsibly we can use AI. So basically putting the AI governance in place, so that at least it's not used in a way which probably comes on the compliance challenges, comes on the way organizations operate. It does not probably hamper the ethical value which all of us operate as part of different companies, right? So it all comes in while you look at these two technologies, how probably cloud enables to scale, how different business areas is getting supported, while probably we have volatility in demand, new areas to operate, etc. At the same time, how efficiency improvement comes in through usage of AI. What are the new use cases we can use, which are relevant for adopting those and testing those and making the POCs, right? That's the way it is slowly going to come together and operate as a single landscape of probably emerging technologies, which helps organizations.
Yeah. So recently, all of us know about the IT global outage, the global IT outage that happened, which impacted the Microsoft, operating system and everything. So how do you look at it? Like, in your view, what would be the reasons, and was it a security concern, or, and moving forward, how, the organizations should have some kind of best practices to meet these kinds of challenges, or maybe mitigate these risks?
Yeah, I think this whole CloudStrike event has actually put all of us to think, while we are probably adopting a lot of new technologies, how we are putting the safeguards and kind of building the resilience to come out of all this, right? Because this is something which has probably come at a stage where we are in a very advanced stage of adopting all new technologies. People are embracing it in both hands. While we put all those technologies, it is very essential that we put the security guardrails in place. And there is not probably a lot of dependence on any service provider who is providing those, right? So I think that's one part of it. And secondly, while you have these in place, putting the whole security models in place so that these kind of things are detected quite early before you get your whole operations, etc., hampered. So that's something which is very key. So that's the way I think I look at it. So the two key learnings which has come out of it is organizations need to look at how to build the resilience, because these kind of things are going to happen probably. We can't control this all the time. This is never going to happen. And secondly, how basically we can put our security guardrails and security practices strong enough that we are able to avoid those hampering us.
Sure. So, with your extensive experience, according to you, what are the biggest challenges clients face when undergoing large-scale transformation projects?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, Kalpana. So when we consult with a lot of clients globally, right, I think this is one of the things which comes in many discussions which I hear, right? So that what are the key challenges which probably everybody perceives in big organizations while they are pursuing transformations. So obviously, while it depends from organization to organization and the kind of journey they are going through, but 2-3 things which always stands out is, first, how probably the whole benefit realization is kept in focus. While the whole transformation is getting driven, I think our focus remains on the benefit realization, how quickly we can get it. So a lot of organizations do it in an MVP model. You do small MVPs in a continual way rather than waiting for long years, etc. So I think whole benefit realizations and KPIs are one of the main challenges which organizations face from large transformation. Second part comes in while it is part of the whole change management. So there are a lot of changes which comes based on the transformations are getting driven. How organizations adopt those changes, prepare for those changes and communicate. That's where the success of it quite depends as well. Because if you take your whole set of stakeholders who are able to adopt those transformation changes and inculcate as part of your habit, success comes quite faster. So I think these two are standing out, obviously, as part of the challenges which comes in.
So as a follow-up question to this, how do you ensure that consulting solutions are tailored to meet the unique needs of each client, especially in a rapidly changing business environment?
Yeah, that's a very good question again. So while we work with all different customers with different business problems, and we basically industry to industry, the imperatives becomes different, because I think the challenges which comes in for each of the industries and the way it is getting driven, the kind of success factors which are treated for each industry are different. So the way we look at it, for when we start at, we basically start from business visioning and business goals, right, for each of the clients. So what they are trying to achieve and what are the business problems they are trying to solve, right? Because that differentiates each one from the other, because probably most likely two of them will not be exactly same because of their whole inheritance of the way they operate, the kind of ground rules they have, and the organizational setup they are having. So our approach is always actually working towards solving those business problems, and which comes in a mix of combinations of whole frameworks, what are the kind of way probably they can achieve the results in a most beneficial way, and how the value-driven approach can come for that industry. And these need to be sustained corresponding to the industry benchmarks for that industry. That's where I think the differentiation comes in when you look for different clients and the specific industries which we operate.
And then affordability of technologies is again a big concern these days, especially, when the things are, there's a lot of disruption. Every day we can see, a new technology coming up. So, how we, as a consulting company can make sure that, we can also make good of we can leverage the legacy infrastructure of the client and not just, having the new technologies implemented in that.
Yeah, so it's a very right trade-off, which is, I think, the key. While new technologies are coming, none of the organizations can ignore it, because you should not be feeling that I am left out of the race. So there is a lot of focus on innovation, which comes as part of IT organizations, and some organizations having it as part of business, which actually continually cultivate how the innovation and the new technologies can help. Those run as a proof of concepts probably, right? To see how basically those can help the organizations to realize specific use cases, how it can help. But before large-scale adoption of new technologies, we need to ensure that we are taking most of the benefits of our existing landscape, which you just articulated as part of their current legacy systems, etc. And what is the best way probably to address those if we are adopting the new technologies, right? That's where the whole cost efficiency comes in play in terms of looking at if we are offsetting some of the existing technologies, how probably we are going to take the advantage of cost benefits, adopting a new technology with a better efficiency and productivity. That's where I think the experimentation with new technology should be done in a continual way, in a whole POC MVP model by a group of IT or business functions. And once it matures and gives considerable value as part of MVPs, then it needs to be looked at for a large-scale adoption, identifying the impact in the current landscape of whole technology involving infrastructure applications, which are there.
So in your experience, to what extent, organizations are able to actually, because there are, integration issues, when it comes to the legacy infrastructure. There could be computing issues. There could be any other issues also. So, as per your observation, how much actually organizations are able to cope up with this? At the same time having new technologies but simultaneously, building it up on the existing infrastructure.
Yeah, so I think a lot of organizations are trying to modernize their infrastructure because maintaining the old infrastructure is not probably all the time beneficial, considering the scalability part coming in play and the increasing customer demand and enterprise demand which comes in, right? But it comes in a way, I think the different industry to industry is quite different. If I take for an example, probably banking as an industry, you will find a lot of AS400s are still running, right? Those legacy systems are part of their core operations. So a lot of banks still are thinking and probably looking at modernizing those, but those are not done fully because it's not a very easy task to do, because considering the whole purpose, it is driving that how to achieve the whole outcomes, the support of the processes and operations which are there. But wherever there are possible, I think people are still looking to take modernization of infrastructure, adopting cloud, where there are cost benefits and value realizations which are very clear. Because these days, I think the decisions are mostly driven by value realizations to a great extent for each of these infrastructure decisions.
Yeah, sure. Then I think outsourcing is another important factor these days, that instead of having everything in-house, I think a lot of outsourcing, including infrastructure, like, we can see DaaS culture coming up. So, what are your recommendations? Is it safe for the organizations to outsource quite a few technologies which are really, they think is difficult to manage? And especially, what are your comments for when it comes to the cybersecurity posture of the organization?
Yeah, so there is no single answer for all organizations or single recommendation for all organizations, because this all depends actually what are the core competency the organization wants to drive, right? So I think if you look at the industry, this is currently the way it is getting driven, is that everybody wants to keep the core to them, which is very essential, their core operations, core business processes, etc. The areas where outsourcing can help with some kind of skilled people coming in and bringing efficiency are the areas people are looking for outsourcing. I think that goes through a very clear evaluation that which are the business processes or function areas are fit for outsourcing and going to give them benefits in longer run. That's where the whole consideration of global capability centers comes in play. And while probably you put in offshore delivery centers, etc., where there are a lot of capabilities getting built, etc. Now, when it comes on cybersecurity, I think cybersecurity is a subject which everybody wants to keep some posture or some skill set within the organizations as a must, because you can't be probably looking at outsourcing this function completely. You can keep some of the core areas as part of cybersecurity, which is inherent to the organizations, and getting done some of the areas which can help from scale, which can help from expertise in specific skill sets, etc., from outside. I think that's the way it is evolving. It's not kind of completely proven that probably cybersecurity as a service is coming and everybody is adopting in that path. A lot of organizations are taking, but they are skeptical to see how probably it goes on.
So would you like to give some example that, okay, these are the kind of things when it comes to cybersecurity, which can still be outsourced, the other things, of course, we know what are the core things which has to be kept with the organization, but to what extent, when it comes to cybersecurity, it can be given to a third party?
Yeah, so I think if you look at probably from small to mid organizations, the key functions of cybersecurity, when you look at, like, if the CISO function comes in, I think everybody is trying to keep the CISO function as part of the organization. So at least very rare cases, people look at outsourcing those functions, right? If you look at probably performing some kind of a penetration test for some specific purpose, doing some kind of an cloud security strategy for them, defining, etc., which requires some specific skill sets, right? while people look at getting external help. It may be one time, it may be some cases actually, while keeping your cyber SOC as part of operations, right? Those kind of areas people are looking to outsource as well. So that's the way it is getting driven. Strategic initiatives, people are getting help externally if probably they feel they don't have the skill sets. Now, cyber operations, a lot of cases people are looking at outsourcing because the expertise and scale are not available with all the organizations. That's where it comes in.
Yeah. So what strategies do you recommend for organizations looking to stay ahead of the curve in an increasingly competitive and dynamic market?
Yeah, so I think one of the key things which everybody is trying to look at how to differentiate, whatever service industry or whatever probably product-based industry you are looking at, right? That's one. Secondly, how the customer experience is getting driven. Because now it has become that this is one of the most important functions which comes in play, that how probably you put everything in the organization, starting from your processes, your systems, your applications, which support superior customer experience. So that's another differentiator, which everybody is keeping in mind while how to differentiate between different.
Yeah. So like earlier also we discussed around, because we are talking about the strategy. So we discussed about the affordability. For large enterprises having bigger IT funds, it has not been that challenging. But yes, now with macroeconomic conditions, again, fund flow is an issue with everywhere. But when it comes to SMEs, especially in a country like India, managing those budgets is so in that scenario, what exactly can be done around, to actually empower these organizations to meet these challenges of having lower budgets?
Yeah, so small to medium organizations, I think due to this whole economy situation coming in, there are a lot of pressure which comes in. So I think everybody is trying to look at what are the maximum cost potential which they can look at to run the organization, correct? So that is the reason cost optimization is of great importance these days. Suppose you are running on cloud, you need to look at what maximum you can take out of it. So that the maximum optimized services are coming in play, right? For an example. So I think it's a mix of things. When you have your functions, there are certain areas which are running the bank, or running the organizations, correct? And some part which are basically your strategy functions. So I think the areas which are running the organizations, we need to look at how to leverage various cost optimization initiatives. So without compromising the value, and continually look at, it's not a one-time exercise to do that, right? So that those are coming in. Secondly, I think technology adoption is helping a lot of areas as well to increase productivity and handle scale at a lower cost where appropriate. So people need to evaluate, like if someone is probably not using cloud, whether usage of cloud will give some benefits rather than keeping on-prem setup in terms of your servers, hardwares, etc., right? Those kind of things comes in. Thirdly, I think those set of organizations also need to look at how the operating model change need to come in, right? So what are the core flex model probably which they can bring in, and some of the functions which stays in-house which are very critical versus some functions which probably giving outsourcing gives some benefits. So those kind of considerations will help them give some leeway probably where some additional funds which are probably coming up, which will help to run the organization.
Yeah, sure. So this is definitely going to help their operational efficiency.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so switching gears, outside of your professional work, are there any personal projects or interests you are passionate about that you would like to share with our audience?
Yeah, so I'm very passionate about both sports as well as music. So I very much love to play table tennis. So I spend quite a lot of time on it. And I also listen to music wherever I get time. Travel is also one of the favorites.
Yeah. Okay. So lastly, what advice would you give to aspiring CXOs and tech leaders who are just starting their careers?
Yeah, I think my suggestion to them is always to be watchful what is coming as a new technologies. Try to put your hand on all those areas, because the age which is currently going on is with every day keeping yourself updated. So that's one of the key areas which you need to look at. Secondly, whatever work you do, you need to look at how you are adding value in your work. That's where you will be recognized in the industry.
Sure. Thank you so much, Soumya, for sharing your valuable insights and experience with us today. It's been a complete pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. Nice for having me here. It was nice talking with you. Thank you.
And thank you to our audience for tuning in. Stay tuned for more insightful conversations with industry leaders on the next episode of Talks with Kalpana. Goodbye and take care.
For more updates from CXOTV, please like and subscribe to our channel.